All right, guys, we are live. This is Beat the Line broadcast, episode 35, UFC Saudi Arabia. I'm your host, Picks by Pegasus. I'm here with Dravhy, and again, big friend of our show, McPicks. Thanks for joining us today.
Yeah, man.
Let's take a look at this card. So if we're looking at canceled or fizzled bouts, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we've had 7 bouts canceled or rescheduled. That actually doesn't even include the Shara and Lutterbuck fight. So that's 8 or 9 fights canceled this card. What do you guys think for this card? What do we think of the UFC at this rate? It kind of seems like a circus. No?
I think that I'm always happy to have fights. Number one, I'll take a shitty fight night card over no fights whatsoever. But I think that this card's getting a lot of criticism, but I think it's pretty solid. There's a lot of name value. You got Whittaker, Aliskerov is an up and comer. I feel like Pavlovich and Volkov can be a main event on a random fight night card. Everyone knows Gastelum. Shara's got some hype behind them. Everyone knows Johnny Walker, Volkan Oezdemir, Haqparast, Gordon. So I just feel like we don't have a lot of fights. They definitely mix some things up on us, but I think it's still solid. I'm looking forward to it.
Definitely. I mean, you got to give the princes what they want, right? They're not paying all this money to just see what they were going to see. What was it, two months ago or something like that? It was like the worst card ever. It was Shamil versus
Rosenstruck. Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly. So this is a huge step up from there. I don't know. It's going to be interesting. Let's get into it right away, though. So we got Long Zhao versus Chang Ho Lee. Chang Ho Lee, he's 30 years old. He's 5'8" with a 69-inch reach. Long Zhao is 26, 5'8" with a 70-inch reach. Right now, the odds on these two guys, Long Zhao is minus 112. Chang Ho Lee is minus 108. So it's essentially a pick 'em. Drav, I'll have you go first. What do you think about this fight? Do you think Chang Ho Lee can really impose his wrestling and ground game here, or do you think Long's got the takedown defense to keep it standing?
No, I like Lee. Actually, he's my free bet of the week. I play him at plus 100. I think he's going to win a lot of fights in the UFC. He has a lot of tools that are important and go far in MMA. I just bet Brady Easton last week, and he's a good example of that. Like cardio, pace, pressure, wrestling, grappling, nonstop, and that dog in you. Some people have this and some other people don't, but Lee has it. So yeah, I think his cardio is insane. He's super, super durable, and his grappling's not the best, but he keep working. Like he work, and he can get taken down, but I love his get-up game, his scrambles. When he gets on top, he has good ground and pound. And yeah, I like his game overall. He's not the best striker. He's pretty hittable, but he's going to pressure you. He has some power, nothing crazy. But like I said, he's just going to pressure you and you can't really finish him, but he's not going to stop. So he's going to be a guy that I'm going to be looking at playing the round 2-3 props on. Maybe not for this matchup because I don't think Long is bad or gassy or anything. I think he's decent and he has good cardio himself. But yeah, I feel like he's going to be close on the feet, but I think Lee's going to be the one pushing the grappling, the wrestling pace. And yeah, I think they're going to go at it. Maybe it's going to be a war, but I do favor Lee as the fight goes on. Like I said, I'm pretty high on his ceiling overhaul. And the guy that he beat last time out, Zawupasi, I'm pretty high on him. I think he's as potentially top 15 ceiling in the UFC. Maybe that's an odd take, but I think this guy is very, very solid. And the fact that he was able to find a way to win this fight is pretty impressive to me. And Long Yago, I don't really know how to say his name, but whatever. I mean, if you look back, like he got a lot of fights, but he fought really low level guys, and he got finished, got broke in one or two fights that I've watched, but it was a long time ago. He did look all right against Quinones, but I think the nose split decision win is a bad look. I think nose is garbage, to be honest. He has a bad chin and he's not a good fighter. The fact that he was in a close fight with him is not a good look. And then he got a majority decision against a guy who didn't mix up his striking, was only trying to wrestle him. I think Lee's going to do a better job of mixing the striking and the wrestling here. And yeah, Long, one thing that I've noticed about him, and he doesn't really take damage well. Like he got a dog in him, but when he's taking shots, like his nose starting to bleed pretty easily in a lot of fights, which we know the judges they're not really good, but if they see someone bleeding and the fight is close, maybe that's gonna swing the round. So yeah, I just don't like that. Another guy that is similar to that is Cameron Simon. He's a tough guy, but when he's getting hit, the nose started bleeding and stuff like that. So I think that's maybe a interesting aspect to look at. But overall, I think Lee should be around -150 or 60%. So yeah, I think he's gonna win this fight.
Yeah, I agree. And going back on tapes, I think the thing that stood out to me the most about Chang Ho Lee was going down 2-1, getting his ass beat pretty bad and coming back and finding a ground and pound finish. I think he could do the same thing here, probably round 3, round 2, kind of like you said. I love that. I played him money line +113. I also think I don't think Long Zhao has found or faced a grappler of the same pedigree. And if you go back and you looked into, Long Zhao's record when he was back at the Chinese fight promotion Wars, it's kind of a padded record. And, there's another guy who has a relatively padded record as well that we're going to talk about later in the card. And it doesn't really make sense for a guy to be, 26 and he's 26-7. So you're telling me he's got more fights than he does years on this earth? Doesn't really make sense to me. You go back and look at some of those fights, they're being fought in the kitchen of the back kitchen of some restaurant. They're not real bouts. So I don't know. I think Lee is the side here. I think he has the capability to keep it standing as well as being able to wrestle. No problem here. I think he's going to be able to impose that wrestling. I don't think it should be a struggle at all. McPicks, what do you got for us?
I'm going to largely agree with both you guys. I think Lee's the side. These are two road to UFC guys. I don't ever really watch that promotion, but it's nice. They do give the UFC stats on these fighters, but I did go back and watch their fights. I don't like how Lee is I don't like his defensive grappling. He does go for a lot of takedowns, but he gets reversed often. He gives up minutes. He gives up control time, and he gets beat up on the ground a lot of the times. Like you said, he was losing to that one fighter. He was down 2-0 on the judges' scorecards. It was pretty clear. And then he came back in the third round, and he just beat him up and found the finish. And I did watch Lee's fight in Brave CF. It was like the same thing, except he didn't get the finish. He was down 2-0 going into the third round. And then he just is like a zombie. He's like a Terminator round 3. He just keeps walking forward, has great cardio, super durable, and he puts it on his opponents. I don't like putting my money on fighters where they're going to lose minutes early on and they're kind of reliant to get on a finish late. But I'm not impressed with Long Zhao. I don't think his striking is that good. He does have pretty good defensive wrestling. But yeah, like Drav said, the guys he fought in the road to UFC, I don't think they were any good. They were just forcing the takedowns. And I don't think Long Zhao's striking is that good either. So if I had to make a pick, I would take Chang Ho Lee. And I wouldn't be surprised if he puts it on Long Zhao, who's been finished 3 times, been knocked out 3 times. I wouldn't be surprised if Lee puts it on him late and gets him out of there.
Yeah, I agree. Next fight here. This is good. So we had a little comment. People commenting on the last video like, yo, this guy can't get a single name right. And I'm like, don't worry, I'll make it up to you guys.
You got this.
I get the Saudi Arabia part. So we're going to start with Brenson Ribeiro versus Magomed Gadzhiyasulov. All right?
That's good, man.
It's close enough, good. Right? It's pretty good. So let's talk about these guys for a second, right? Looking at this bout, we got Brenson Ribeiro, who is 27, 6'3", with an 81-inch reach. Huge reach. That's the same as John Jones. Magomed, on the other hand, he's 30 years old, 6'2", with a 75-inch reach. Right now, the odds on these two guys, you can get there's no way. I'm looking right now. It says this guy Gadzhiev is -470. That can't be right because that line came in.
No,
-310.
Yeah, he was around that for like a couple days.
Yeah, so now he's -310. Brenson Ribeiro is +260. I'm going to start us off because I was just real quick. I think this is dog or pass here for me. I do think that Magomed has looked pretty good. He does have, pretty good wrestling. He's a pretty good striker. He's able to keep the range well. He can really, I think, if Brenson comes in here crazy, he can definitely pick him apart on the feet, get away. Anytime he gets in danger, he'll shoot the takedown and get it just because Brenson's willing to play off his back. But like I was talking about earlier, we're going to talk about padded records, right? So going back into this guy's record, the guys he's beat that he's now, what is he, 8-0? One of them is 0-1. Next guy's 0-4, 1-4, 0-3, 0-1. One of them, it says record ineligible for MMA with a big caution mark. And then 2-1, who is now, the guy who's 2-1 is actually 2-2 now. So he's beating cans. Like, it's fake. I went back, I can't remember which video I went back for tapes for, but he was fighting in like a hotel, literally a hotel lobby. So it's like these fights aren't legit. And we saw Brenson as a big underdog in his Dana White Contender Series fight where he upset, I think it was another Russian here. He upset
that was Bruno Lopez.
Oh, no, it was Bruno Lopez. Last fight, I was on Zhang by KO. That hit. But the thing I like about Brenson here is that you know what you're going to get with him. He's active off his back. He's always looking for the sub. He's good on the ground. And he also swings for the fences and goes for knockouts. Like, he's willing to put it on anyone, and he's going to go out there swinging. He's going to fight for your money. So, in my opinion, I think Dogger Pass is pretty good here. You probably could have got it a better line earlier. I don't hate the -2 or the +280 that's on my bookie, but I think Ribeiro, you got to take the dog shot here. Gadzhiyasulov could win this fight, but I don't know. I don't think there's any value on playing him at -310. McPicks, what do you think here?
Yeah, I think like you mentioned, Gadzhiyasulov, his record is definitely sketchy. I'm getting some fraud vibes from him.
Me too.
And Ribeiro is dangerous, man. He's volatile. He's big for the division. He's athletic, has a long reach. And like you said, this guy, Gadzi, has fought absolutely terrible level competition. And when the fight does get extended, he looks like he fatigues. I'm not saying the fight's going to get extended here, but if it does, go into late second, third round, he gets tired. And we also saw him. He was hurt on the regional scene. He was able to shoot a takedown and save himself. And that might happen here. One thing I don't like about Ribeiro is when he gets taken down, he doesn't have a sense of urgency to get back to his feet. He tends to throw strikes off his back, which I don't like. And he could easily get ground and pound here and get finished. He's been finished a number of times. But yeah, I mean, Gadzhiyasulov, he should not be this big of a favorite. I think that, like I said, this is a volatile fight. So I think someone's going to get finished early. And if you're looking to bet it would be a dogger pass, definitely.
You're muted.
Drav, what do you think?
Yeah, again, we agree on the same page again. I did get involved with Ribeiro at +350. I think the line was absolutely crazy. Yeah, I mean, you guys already mentioned some good points, but yeah, I think Ribeiro has a very, very good chance to knock this guy out. I also think he's live to submit him with a guillotine. Like, he has, like you said, a big reach, which mean long arms. And I've seen him go for a lot of guillotine on the regional. And I've seen Magomed in some guillotine when he tried to wrestle, especially when he's getting tired. After 7 minutes, I think his gas tank is very, very suspect. But he's relying on the wrestling because when he fatigues on the feet, he's making more mistakes and he's more open on the feet to get cracked. So he's trying to wrestle, but his wrestling is good, but I don't think it's that good. And I don't think his top game is insane. So if you try to shoot a bad takedown because he get hurt or something, I think he's live to end up in a guillotine. But yeah, I don't like Ribeiro get-up game, that's for sure. I think Magomed can win minutes on top. On the feet in round one, I think it's anyone fight, to be honest. If you try to strike with him, Ribeiro, I know he has been KO a couple of times, but I don't think his chin is as bad as what people are saying. Like, he's not super easy to finish, because if we put a little bit context into who he got finished by, he got KO'd 3 times, okay? One of the guy that KO him is 10-3 to the KO. The other dude is 14-3 to the KO, and the other guys was 11-3 to the KO. And Gadzhiyasulov, he only has 4 KO wins and all over bums, like you guys say, with negative records. So I think that's important. I'm not saying he doesn't have power. I'm saying he's not that dangerous. And with that being said, when he's taking a step up in competition, his last 2 fights, he's going a decision, and he doesn't look good as the fight goes on. So we don't have a lot of data on Ribeiro later the fight goes, but to me, it's kind of easy to just based on how bad Magomed look after 7 minutes to see that Ribeiro can crack him even more if the fight goes. Like I think if the fight goes over 1.5, it's probably gonna become a sloppy fight that anybody can win. And I also think in round 1, it's kind of who land the big shot first. Like Magomed's good at distance with his kicks and stuff like that, but Ribeiro can fucking crack, man. And I mean, he already won as a big underdog. He was the same price actually against Bruno Lopez, who I think is a good fighter. So he was able to knock this guy out, and he got hit with big shots in that one. And same with Zhang. Like he got killed in his last fight, but he did look good in my opinion before the KO. He was. I think he has a lot more tools on the feet than Magomed, and like I said, I think the grappling of Magomed is not that good. So yeah, overall, this guy to me is a big fraud. I'm not saying he's like terrible, but he's not as good as what people think. And if that's not this fight, I'm gonna fade him another time, especially if he's facing someone with like good cardio. So yeah, he's gonna be a fade, but I think Ribeiro's the one to knock him out here, or maybe catch him in a sub. A couple reasons too why I like him is Ribeiro has more pro fights and he's 3 years younger. He fought way better competition. He already made his UFC debut. Because this guy Magomed, don't forget, he's making his UFC debut as a massive favorite, but he's facing his toughest test to date and the most dangerous guy that he ever fought. So that's a big ask. So Ribeiro, he cashed as a plus 380 underdog on Contender Series, like I talked about, and he also brings a lot of volatility with his style in his fights. McPick just talked about it. Like he's very volatile as a fighter. He's not a guy that you want to pay a big price again because he's kill or be killed, but he has a lot of power. He's taller, he's longer, 81 inch of reach compared to 75. That's a big difference. He's training with good people. He's training with Bruno Ferreira and Bruno Silva. He got his BJJ brown belt recently, so maybe he's gonna go for the guillotine. Who knows? And I think he has multiple paths to victory as a big underdog. He's super dangerous. And Gadzhiyasulov, he has been cracked and put down versus guy that has less power than Ribeiro. If you watch his fight, I think that was in Brave FC. He got kind of hurt and he relied on the wrestling there, but. Yeah, I think Ribeiro is live to knock him out. He's live to catch him in a sub. And if it goes over to a decision, maybe I favor Magomed, but I think it's going to be close. So, yeah, man, this price to me was insane. So I play plus 350, pretty big. But I think the price now is still pretty good. I will honestly make Magomed minus 150. Maybe I'm not reading this fight correctly, but to me, this is just a massive. Like this price is just insane to me here. So
yeah, and also I feel like if like you said, like if Gadzhiyasulov is gonna finish Ribeiro, it's not gonna be on the feet. I think he's gonna take him down, and then it's gonna be like a ground and pound finish. I don't think Gadzhiyasulov has a ton of power. If you look at his even you don't want to put too much weight in amateur record, but this dude went to decision almost every fight. And I know they're only 3-minute rounds, but still, I mean, a lot of these amateur guys are super low level and they get finished often. He went through a lot of decisions, and all the guys he finished in his professional career are really inexperienced and have been finished multiple times. So exactly. I just feel like and it's not like Gadzhiyasulov is like takedown after takedown chain wrestling. Like he throws out like spinning shit on the feet, throws a lot of kicks. It's all flashy, and then he gets tired, and he usually shoots if he gets in the clinch or if he gets hurt. So volatile fight, but dog or pass.
Yeah, I think it's still dog or pass. I will say, looking into that amateur tape too, I think the reason he kind of like you said, it goes to the decision so often against shitty fighters is because he's also one of those guys that's not willing to take a risk. He wants to just win the fight. So he doesn't take those huge risks and huge shots to finish the fight. So I think that's part of this as well. And I think sitting on the back foot and kind of like trying to be cautious against a guy like Brenson, you're just going to give the guy more time to try and finish you. So I like the bet there. I played it for half a unit at plus 260. I like that too. I like DG here said Ribeiro ITD. I don't even know what the number on that is.
Yeah, it was plus 500 at some point on Bet Online. Let me
Christ. Really?
the same. Oh no, it's gone. It's plus 375 on Bet Online now. So yeah,
Ribeiro by KO is plus 650.
yeah, I mean, it's just like I said, it's a little bit tricky because the sub is what the sub is plus 900. So yeah, if you play the KO as a massive underdog and he gets it done by submission or something like that, you're gonna be pissed. So I think you either go with ITD or you play the money line because he's already a massive underdog, and I really do think the guillotine is live. And like I said, he just got promoted a BJJ brown belt, and he does a ton of subs, and he has long arms, and I mean. The guy, what's his name? Fucking Medina. He had an armbar on Magomed and he had a kind of guillotine on him, bro.
Yeah,
that guy Medina was also a taxi driver, like a literal. Like people make the joke, "Oh, you're a taxi driver." Like he was actually a taxi driver.
Dude, taxi drivers know how to scrap, all right?
Yeah. But dude, I'm looking here at the lines too. So right, this guy Gadzhiyasulov to win in round one is plus 120. What the fuck is that about? Like, how many first round finishes? Like,
yeah, bro. To be honest, maybe I'm just reading this fight completely wrong, but I think the market is so off on this one. Like, so off.
I think so too. I'm almost thinking about. Like I said, I put half a unit on plus 260. I'm thinking about taking a sprinkle shot at submission by plus 1,000, and then you put the other 25, another quarter of a unit on KO plus 650. He wins inside the distance. Either way, you're making money.
Yeah, you could do that. Like I did put my balls on the table. I played 2.5 unit at plus 350. I really think
I like that though.
Yeah, I really think the line was so off, but I still like it at the current price. So
okay, let's move on to our next fight. Next fight seems to be, a fight everyone's been talking about. It's Muin Gafurov versus Kyung Ho Kang, or Mr. Perfect. Muin Gafurov, he is 28, 5'7" with a 68-inch reach. Mr. Perfect is 36, 5'9", 73-inch reach. Right now, you can get these guys. You can get Gafurov anywhere from minus 160 to minus 150. You can get Kang anywhere from plus 140 to plus 130. Drav, I'll have you start us off with this one. I mean, this guy Gafurov is fighting for his job here. I mean, he goes 0-3 in the UFC starting this way, especially being given like a home fight in a Saudi Arabia card. He loses this. He loses his job. Does he keep his job or does he not keep his job?
Yeah, to be honest, I don't have a good read on this one. Like I've talked a lot about the last two fights because I had a good read on it. This one, I'm not too sure. I wanted to bet Gafurov when he was around to pick him. I was a little bit late into tapes and I missed the price. Now I feel like it's a dog or pass. They have like that's kind of a clash of style. Like Kang is a technical guy with a good jab, pretty decent at distance. And Gafurov is just a pressure guy. He's gonna shoot a lot of takedowns. Very sloppy. I don't like his top game. I think he's very hittable on the feet. I think Kang can be looking very good. I think Kang can potentially catch him in a submission. But yeah, Gafurov overall, his game is not bad, but he's very sloppy. And yeah, overall to me, it's just a weird fight because Kang is 36. He didn't look good in his last fight. And like you said, Gafurov job is probably on the line. He's 28 compared to 36, so that's that. But Kang has a big reach advantage and he's plus 140. So to me, he's probably the side, and also just some numbers. I mean, the fight to go the distance is minus 155. They're both pretty durable. Bet online saying that Kang is gonna win around at minus 180, so around 62-63%. So the market's saying it's either going to be Gafurov 29-28 or potentially Kang's winning it. So at plus 140, I think he's the side. The over are not bad, but yeah, like I said, I'm not too passionate about this one. Like I wouldn't be shocked if anything happened on this one. So I'm gonna pick Gafurov to win because he's the one I think is gonna get it done. But as the value side now at plus 140, I think you got to go Kang. There's no way I think you can play minus 160 on Gafurov here, but maybe you guys have a better read than me on this one.
How do you feel about it, McPicks? You want to go first? You got a strong read, or do you want me to go first?
Yeah, I'll go. So this is the first fight I looked into for this card. I was like, I saw it was Gafurov was like minus 115, and then you had Kang was like minus 105, and I'm like, dude, this is a great buy low spot on Gafurov. You know, he's on a 3-fight skid. He's fought a solid level of competition. And I looked into the fight, like planning on making a bet on Gafurov, and I just didn't do it. I think that the price there was accurate. I think it's a little wide now. I'm not advocating a bet on Kang now or anything like that. But, you know, Gafurov, he'll fight for your money. He's a solid fighter. He's durable, although he does get dropped. He does get hurt. But he's just reckless. He gets, like I said, he gets dropped, which is not good optics-wise, especially if this fight's favored to go to a decision. It's not a good look when you're getting dropped. And I question his cardio, like against Castaneda. He in the third round, Castaneda finished really strong. He was on top of I don't remember the exact sequence, but I remember Castaneda was on top of Gafurov, and he just beating him up like to the final like 15 seconds. Just not a good look. And a guy like Kang, he's super durable. He's a little bit older. That's the one questionable thing, but he's durable. He's tall. He's got a good reach. He's got good striking. He's probably the better submission grappler here. And we saw Gafurov put in some bad spots. So after looking into it, I was like kind of bummed out. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna have a bet on Gafurov, and I ended up just passing on it. And of course, the line now is minus 160, but I was happy to pass. I think it should be closer. And yeah, I think Gafurov still wins, but it's a pass for me.
So it's so funny you said that because I completely agree with you. Drav knows I've been in our group chat talking about betting Ewing Gafurov since he was, minus 105. Like I've been talking about wanting to bet him. I sat down and looked at tapes. He's one of those guys that I mean, last fight I predicted like Said Nurmagomedov was going to finish him by guillotine submission just because of the sloppy shots he takes. That makes me think about this fight where Kang is obviously a submission specialist as well. Obviously that's Sayed's bread and butter, and he's probably the best guy at doing it in the UFC currently. But there's no reason Kang can't do the same thing off a sloppy shot. Kind of like you said too, Gafurov, he throws like spinning attacks. He throws like these crazy punches that like look good, and as long as they land, they look good for the judges. But if they miss, they don't. He does get rocked a lot, and Kang does hit hard. Kang's a pretty big 135er. He's got a lot of power. He's got a submission game. Like this is by no means an easy fight. I've been trying to bet him. Minus 160 is now way too wide for me. I do think that plus 140 on BetOnline for Kang isn't a bad look. I don't really see a finish here just because I don't see both guys taking risks. I mean, this guy, Gafurov, like you said, he's fought a pretty good and strong competition. John Castaneda, he's going to push a pace that Kang won't push. So you don't have to worry about that. So Said Nurmagomedov has the best submission, like the best guillotine in the UFC probably right now. So you're not going to have to worry about that either, I don't think. But I don't know. I don't think you could justify him here. I think it's kind of like a pass fight for me. I guess you could play, like you guys said, they're both durable. You could probably play the over here, but that's probably the best I would do. I wanted to get to a Gafurov.
The over, dude. I think the over is even sketchy just because how like inherently aggressive Gafurov is. And he hasn't been finished, but like we've seen him dropped and hurt. Like he was hurt a couple times. And and he has like a almost 100% finish rate, so yeah, maybe it makes it to decision, but me personally, I wouldn't lay the chalk on it.
Yeah, I mean, what do we have right over 2.5 minus 180? Yeah, never mind. That's not worth it.
If it was plus money or something, maybe. But yeah, I'm not willing to lay the chalk either. I think it goes, but yeah.
I think you got to stay away this fight. I think it goes 2, but
Yeah.
I think it's just best to stay away from this fight, honestly. Just
Yeah, we
because you
don't have to bet every fight, right? So yeah, to me that's a bad fight, and we all agree on it, so that's good.
Exactly. So all right. So here's what we're gonna do: take your money and put it on this next fight because the next one's interesting. We got we have Rinat Fakhretdinov versus Nicholas Dalby. Rinat is 32, 6 feet tall with a 74-inch reach. Dalby is 39, 5'11 with a 74.5-inch reach. Right now, line on Rinat is minus 350 to minus 333. Dalby's anywhere from plus 288 to plus 250. Nick Picks, you go first. There's no way Dalby is going to come in here as a big underdog and continue his streak of going, what is it, 5 of his last 6 is a huge dog he's won. There's no way he continues that spree, right?
I don't think so. But, I mean, you got to give credit to Nick Dalby. I mean, he's 39 years old. He has a seriously good record, 23-4. And, I mean, he put it to Gabriel Bonfim his last time out. But, Bonfim is a really good prospect. But I think the cardio of a guy like Rinat is a lot better than Bonfim. That dude just fell off a cliff, and then he just kind of peeled over. Rinat Fakhretdinov, when he fought, I think a lot of people are going to play Dalby based on Renat's last fight when he fought Zaleski dos Santos. But Easy Dos is a really, really good counter grappler. He can tire you out. I know he lost his last fight, but that was against Randy Brown. Randy Brown wasn't shooting takedowns. And, Rinat was winning that fight pretty clearly for 2 rounds until the 3rd round where he obviously was tired and he got 10-8'd. I don't think that happens here. Like I said, Nick Dalby has a good record, but he also has been fighting some older fighters, Salikov, Warley Alves, who on his way out, Claudio Silva, definitely not in the UFC anymore, Tim Means, Daniel Rodriguez, Jesse Ronson. That was a sketchy loss. I know Ronson popped for like some sort of PED, but Ronson choked him out. That was a weird one. And he, like Peter Sabata, he lost to Zach Cummings. So he has like some questionable losses. And I think Rinat's the real deal. I mean, yes, he got tired of his last time out, but like I said, I think Zaleski's grappling defense is really, really good. He makes his opponents work, and he got tired. So, but Dalby's super tough. I wouldn't be surprised if this went to a decision, but got to go with Rinat here. I think the minus 350 price is pretty well justified.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you here. I kind of think the same thing. I think this is one of those things where that dog spree comes to an end for Dalby. And here's why. Like you mentioned, Bonfim, he was beating him pretty bad up until he gassed. I think he gassed because of 2 reasons. A, he's a young guy fighting in his home country. First fight, adrenaline dump, thinking he was going to get the finish. The way him and Rinat grapple are 2 way different things. Bonfim was constantly going for submissions, so he's opening up, positions on the ground where Dalby's able to get back up to his feet, able to separate and get some space and get back up. Rinat doesn't grapple that way. Rinat is going to stay on top of you. He's going to constantly have that wrist control that a lot of the Russian wrestlers have. He's going to constantly have a hold of, he does a lot of, he'll grab the opposite side ankle, and the way he rides back control and everything like that, this is going to be one of those things where he gets Dalby down, where Dalby doesn't have the best takedown defense in the world. Once he gets him down, I think he's kind of staying down there, and Rinat doesn't have that gas tank. I think Rinat's good for rounds 1, rounds 2 in a pretty big clip of winning those. I'm not saying a finish. He does hit hard, so we could definitely see him getting a knockdown at some point, though I don't see Dalby getting finished. Dalby round 3 plus 2,700 is interesting. I think that's the most likely path for him to win, just kind of like we saw against Dos Santos, where he was, got a liver shot and almost died on us. And we luckily got a draw because I played him big in that card. But I think this is a Rinat spot here. I think it's pretty clear. I think Dalby is kind of going to run out of that dog luck here. Drav, what do you think?
Yeah, it's kind of tricky to me because I really wanted to bet Dalby, but I'm really trying hard to not bet him in this spot. There's a couple reasons. I feel like first of all, the dog shot on him, the big underdog price was last fight, not this one. Um, and I think Bonfim's a better finisher than Renat for sure. But give me a second.
Okay, so in the meantime, I agree. Bonfim's probably the better finisher, but I think that's come from a different type of competition. I mean, like I said, Bonfim's a young man. This is his first time on the home stage. I think that's the reason why he adrenaline dumped the way that he did. Yeah.
My bad. Yeah.
No worries.
I don't think the age a factor here. Yeah, he's 39, but to be honest, he has been looking very, very good lately. And he's in very good shape. Dalby, I think he's locked in right now. I'm not thinking that he's washed or anything. I just feel like overall, Renat's a tough matchup for him because we have seen Dalby struggle with his takedown defense and doesn't have the best get up. So I think Renat's gonna dominate round one. Maybe dropped him. We know Dalby's getting dropped sometimes, but he's pretty tough, and I like Renat top game. Top control is very good. Good wrestling, decent striker. But yeah, the ZDS fight was interesting to me because back in the days, Dalby fought ZDS, and he actually was able to out wrestle him. That was a little bit surprising to me. And yeah, I just feel like overall, Dalby's a cardio machine, and we've just seen Renat slow down in round three. So if Dalby is able to survive early, making work, and then he has very good volume and very good round three in general. It's cardio king. So I think he's live to finish him in round three. So I'm trying hard to not bet Dalby or just not bet round 2, 3 because I think you win the third round at potentially a high clip here. And I think Renat's going to win the first round or maybe the first two at a pretty decent clip. So I don't really see Renat finishing Dalby. He has never been officially finished as a pro because you mentioned the Jesse Ronson fight. So yeah, he's pretty tough to me. And if I don't see a lot of finishing upside on the Renat side, just based on that, I don't really think the price is justified. And adding the fact Dalby is going to potentially look good or win round three, like I could see Dalby finishing late. So yeah, the round 2, 3 at like plus 2,000, plus 2,700, something like that. To me, it's interesting for sure. But I do think Renat wins the decision. I'm not sure yet if I'm going to get involved or not. I'm just watching the price going up and up and up again. They're just teasing me at this point. Maybe at plus 300, I'm gonna have a taste. But so for now, I'm passing. I think Renat win a decision.
Sorry, I'm gonna move it up for you soon because I'm gonna be putting in a parlay with Renat pretty soon, probably for 2 units. I have something in mind that I haven't fully closed on yet, but I think I've been looking into it all day. I think this price is fine for Renat. I think he's got it covered. Next, let's talk about our next fight here. This is a late notice remade fight. It's Muhammad Naimov versus Felipe Lima. Muhammad Naimov, he is 29. He's 5'9" with a 70-inch reach. He's fighting out of Elevation Fight Team. Then we have Felipe Lima. He's 26, 5'6", reach. They didn't give it to me here, so I can't really help you there. Right now, Naimov is minus 125. Felipe Lima is plus 105. Drav, did I have you go first? I'll have you go first on this one because I think I had you go second of that last time. So go ahead. What do you think about this? Do you think Felipe Lima has what it takes to get it done here?
Yeah, I've never been high on Naimov. I've tried to fade him with wood at massive chalk. He cheated his ass off in this fight, by the way, and he almost died at the end of round 3. I think his cardio is pretty suspect. He slowed down in round 3. He's a big dude, though. He's strong. He has some power. He's not terrible. I just don't think he's that good, and he found a way to win some fights at a big underdog price, and now he's being lined as a favorite here, which I kind of understand in some ways because he's, Lima's making his UFC debut on short notice, up a weight class. He needs to travel and everything, but yeah, he's training at a good gym. He's at All Star. If you look on his Instagram, he's in very good shape, and he was already in a training camp because he was preparing to rematch Magard, a guy that he already fought, and if you watch this fight, the fight that they had, Maguire's a pretty big guy for the division, and he's pretty strong himself. Lima was able to win conventionally. Like he was able to out wrestle him, outstruck him for the most part, and I think he's a very, very good fighter. Like he's gonna drop down to 135 after that, and I think he's gonna be a problem, man. I really like him. I think he's the way better fighter here. And yeah, maybe a hot take. I think people potentially are thinking that Naimov's gonna land takedowns here. If he does, I don't think he's gonna control Lima. Like Lima scrambles, get up game, and just takedown defense in general is pretty good. Maybe he wins just based on being too big and too strong, but that's I don't really see it. I think Lima wrestling is good and his grappling is also good. So I think no, maybe a hot take, but I think Lima can then takedowns here. I think he can get the better of Naimov on the feet. I think he's going to be faster than him. I think he has the better cardio. I think he's gonna smash him in round 3. Like I really do. And he's very fast as a bantamweight. So I think now up a weight class, he's gonna look maybe even faster. The only knock on him is sometimes he doesn't throw a lot of volume, and that is going up a weight class here against a guy that is strong. So it kind of reminded me a little bit of the Wood fight, but I think Lima has a better chin. I think he has better grappling. And yeah, Wood had more volume, but Wood was like minus 300 in that fight. Now we're talking like Lima's the underdog. So yeah, he just went 5 rounds in his last spot. He looks very good. Round 3, 4, 5. His cardio is pretty good, so he doesn't have to cut much. He doesn't have to cut a lot of weight here. So yeah, overall, I think he's the side at plus money.
I completely agree, but I'll do my breakdown in a second. McPicks, what are you thinking here?
So I actually didn't know who Felipe Lima was before this fight got announced.
Welcome to the show.
What's that?
I said, welcome to the show.
So after looking into him, I was super impressed. I mean, he's obviously young. He's like 26 years old, super well-rounded, has no any apparent glaring weaknesses. He is fighting on, like Drav said, he's fighting on short notice. He's up a weight class, but stylistically, I think it's a good matchup for him. Naimov, he's a tough fighter, but I feel like he wins on very thin margins. Like his fight against Nathaniel Wood, I actually bet Naimov money line. He was like plus 260 in that fight because I thought that he could hurt Wood. And, Wood was moving up similar, or he moved up already. But both these guys were fought at 135, Wood and Lima. Kind of similar situation. The difference is Wood, his durability isn't the best. This guy, Lima, has good durability. The other thing is that, Drav mentioned it, when Lima gets taken down, he tries either threatening with submissions or he scrambles right back up to his feet. So there's a big difference between the two. And Wood was minus 300, like you guys mentioned. But when the fight's on the feet, especially as the fight got extended against Wood, Naimov was in trouble. Round 3, Wood's pressuring him, and he's throwing shots, and it was an issue for Naimov. He actually almost got finished in the 3rd round, late. And if you look at the Naimov's record, he has some really questionable losses on his record and questionable cardio, like I just said. So Naimov, he might be able to take down Lima, but like I said, I think Lima's going to work. He's going to try and scramble right back to his feet. And the other thing is Lima's listed as 5'6". This dude is not 5'6". I stalked his Instagram. I was looking at comparing size, between him and a couple of the guys at All Stars. There's no way he's 5'6". He's got to be at least 5'8". His last opponent, I think, was 5'8", and they were the same height. So I think these guys are going to be similar in height. Yes, Naimov is going to be the thicker guy, probably the more stronger guy. But I don't know, man. I think the work rate, the cardio of Lima is just going to overpower or just outwork Naimov down the stretch. Another thing to talk about is Lima's 6-0 to the decision. Naimov, not that good when it goes to a decision. So, and like Drav said, he's training at All Stars. So I think a lot of things are in favor of Lima, and I think he's going to be a really good fighter in the UFC.
Yeah, let's go. I'm glad we agree. And to your point about the decision, Naimov is 3-2 to the decision, and 2 of these wins are split. So You know, that's a good point here because I don't think he finished Lima.
No.
Yeah.
And do you think he finished him, McPick?
I could see a late finish because I don't. Naimov hasn't been finished, right? But
No, I don't think
but
so.
he has been dropped. He has been hurt before, right? We've seen that. I don't think he's going to finish him, but I do feel confident that, like, if the fight is, it looks like it's 1-1. Like, say Naimov wins the first, Lima wins the second, and it's 1-1, and it's clear going to the third, and the live odds are like pick him. You got to smash Lima because
Yeah, for sure.
his cardio is insane. That 5-round fight was wild.
Yeah,
I mean,
man,
he didn't slow down at all.
not at all.
I agree. And so if you go back, someone just let me go find him real quick. I'll shout him out right here. MMA Maestro. You go back to his last post that he put on Twitter. He put it up, and this is what made me put 1 unit, and I'm pissed I didn't put 3 units on Felipe Lima, because go look at the scrambles that he did against this guy Magard. If Naimov tries to wrestle, Felipe Lima is going to make him lick his balls. And I'll be straight up and say that it's not going to even look close. And just because if you look at the hips on this guy, Lima, they're always in the right position. You get to a takedown, he's already transitioning with the scramble before his ass even hits the mat. So you know this guy's not sitting down. He's a quote-unquote smaller guy, but compared to what McPicks just said, he ain't 5'6". They say he's 5'6". Trust me, I'm like 5'6.5". He's bigger than me. So it's just, this is one of those things where Naimov is getting a lot of hype right now because of those fights. Kind of like what you said about Nathaniel Wood. I think this is going to be similar in the sense of the look he's getting, because Nathaniel Wood is a smaller 145er. But I just think that Lima's going to win a decision here only because he does throw heavy punches, but it's not high volume. So if it comes down to that third round, I don't think he's going to hunt for the finish. He's going to have I think he's going to have the better striking, the quicker hands here. This guy mentioned that worried about Naimov's size and hook. I don't think I'm worried about that at all. I'm more worried about, is this guy Naimov going to try and cheat again? And what are the judges going to think being in Saudi Arabia? Because I remember being absolutely disgusted watching that Naimov fight with a Wood ticket, being like, yo, he's grabbing the gloves, he's grabbing the fence. Like,
Dude,
it was
how many times did he cup check his opponents? That dude's got a
Dude, it's crazy. Like, this is our time. We want to get back on Naimov. This is the time to get back on Naimov. This guy Lima, he's the real deal. And people didn't really realize who he was because he's coming off that Octagon regional scene. But people, if you look into that Octagon, Felipe Lima is going to be the next big thing out of Octagon. That's how big I am on this. And I'm either going out here and I'm going to look like a fucking idiot. Oh, he said pause, but he's going to be the next big thing out of this Octagon series. I think he's going to beat this guy Naimov. I think he's going to make it look pretty convincing. And I'm shocked that he's an underdog still. I played 1 unit at plus 110. I'll probably add more to it, especially after how hyped up I just got myself. I just don't Naimov he doesn't give me anything that's going to say this guy's a solidified winner. He doesn't strike me as that type of guy, in any of his fights that you're really watching. And he doesn't impress me at all. So I think Felipe Lima, and I'm a big advocate for hungry dogs run faster. And this is one of those things where you're a young man like this guy, Lima, who had a 5-round fight already. People are like, oh my God, it's short notice. Dude, he's got a fight. He was supposed to fight in Octagon to defend his belt in 3 weeks or 4 weeks or something like that. So he was in camp already. So he's not coming off the couch. It's he's been in camp. I just think this is a very, I don't know. I think the line's crooked here. I think that Lima is going to prove to be a competitor here. And even if he doesn't get it done at 145, when he does fight at 135, because obviously this is his gateway to the UFC, he's going to be one of those guys you want to pay attention to. So I think Lima by decision is probably how he wins, and Lima money line at plus odds is a great bet. That's kind of how I see it.
By the way, they just dropped props on this one, so very interesting. I just played something.
You're not going to tell us?
So some type of
you're going to drop that? You're not going to tell us?
Yeah, I play some type of finish prop for Lima.
Okay. Let me go look at the. So Drav won't tell you. I'm gonna go just because I known him for so long. I'm gonna look and I'm gonna tell you what it
Yeah,
was.
Also, by the way, like we're agreeing on most of these fights. Like we didn't, at least I didn't talk to either of you about my picks for this card.
yeah,
You know what
that's
I mean?
true,
It's
bro.
totally like genuine. It's not like we all been talking like, and we're getting like swayed by others' opinions. No, like I didn't talk to either of you about any of these fights. So
No. Also, he looks like Dash from The Incredibles. If you look at Felipe Lima's topology, he looks like Dash from Incredibles. I think that's fucking hysterical too. But that's besides the point.
I'll
Drav. So
give
the
you.
prop,
I'll give you. I'll
dude,
give,
it's Felipe Lima by KO plus 500.
I'll
Easy.
give you a little hint on my bet. The lines already move a little bit, so you guys can try to see what the
Moved a
open.
little bit. I thought it was. I would have guessed the KO plus 500, but it's not showing me as moved on fight odds, so it's probably behind.
All right, let's go to the next fight.
Okay, let's go to the next fight. Next fight here, Nasrat Haqparast versus Jared Gordon. Nasrat Haqparast, he is 28, 5'10 with a 72-inch reach. Fighting Jared Flash Gordon, 35, 5'9, 68-inch reach. Right now, the odds on these two gentlemen, you can get Nasrat at minus 240 to minus 250. You can get Jared Gordon anywhere from plus 205 to plus 190. McPicks, is Jared Gordon going to get the takedowns here and make this Nasrat fight closer than it has to be like most Nasrat fights, or is Nasrat going to knock out Jared Gordon? Because I think those are the two most likely paths to victory for both gentlemen.
yeah, I think that one thing you got to give credit to Jared Gordon. This dude's 12-0 in decisions. I mean, his record says 11-1, but we all know he beat Paddy the Baddy. I mean, that was so. This dude is 12-0 to the decision, and just something to point out: this fight is favored to go to a decision. Again, I'm not saying go ahead and bet Jared Gordon, but it's just something interesting to note. He's 12-0, and let's see what Haqparast is. 6-3. Now, obviously, context matters. You got to look at who they fought. But I personally, I didn't look into this fight yet. But at face value, just knowing these two fighters, we have a pretty good sample size. They've been in the UFC for a long time now. I personally would not lay the whatever minus 200 price Haqparast is, because Jared Gordon is so good at finding a way to win a decision. I'd probably attack it with the prop, the Haqparast prop, probably the knockout. Just because if you look at Jared Gordon's record, he's been knocked out 4 times, not so much recently, but that's because, he hasn't really fought a lot of heavy hitters. If you look at his record, Marco Madsen, who just gave up during that fight, that dude was retired before he stepped in. Bobby Green, clash of heads, he essentially got knocked out there. Paddy Pimblett, who should have won that fight. Leonardo Santos, he's like 50 years old. Grant Dawson, grappler. Joe Selecki, grappler. Danny Chavez, not in the UFC. Chris Fishgold, not in the UFC. And then he fought Charles Oliveira, knocked him out. And then I keep on going. But you get my point. He hasn't really fought a lot of heavy hitters recently. So I think if you're gonna look to bet this one and you like Haqparast, personally, I wouldn't lay the minus 220. I would hit the KO prop.
I completely agree. I think if you're going to play this fight, you have to play it 2 ways. You either play Jared Gordon by decision or you play Haqparast by KO. I think it's the only 2 ways to play this fight. So I agree with everything you pretty much just said. Drav, what are you thinking?
Yeah, just to touch up a little bit about the last fight. Felipe Lima round 3 is plus 1,000. And if you go round 3 KO, no, it's not good enough. So yeah, round 3 plus 1,000 is pretty good too. I'm probably not gonna play. I don't know if I'm gonna play it because of the other bets I just placed. I already have a lot of exposure on him, but yeah, I really like him. But yeah, about this Gordon fight, and again, I agree with McPicks again here. I don't have a bet on this one. I think Nasrat KO is a good bet, but bro, I bet his KO prop at a big price against Monarchy. Like I bet him at minus 170, and I played a KO at plus 350 and plus 450 for a lot of money, And now they're telling me that he's a bigger favorite against Gordon, and his KO price is worse, like by double. It's crazy to me. Like I don't see it. Like if you play his KO at plus 250, plus 300, maybe I kind of get it because that's kind of how he's gonna cover his price tag. and he's a decent striker. He's pretty tough, good takedown defense. But like you said, Gordon's good at winning distance, winning decision, and winning minutes, and he has all the wrestling, the grappling upside here. He was looking good with Bobby Green till he got caught with the headbutt. He did better in the short period of time that Nasrat just got outclassed against Bobby Green. Then he got out grappled by Dan Nooker. I guess he was not expecting it, but still, Gordon's a pretty good grappler, man. Like, I know he's not like that good of a wrestler, but his grappling is good. And if he's able to get some top time, there's no way this line's accurate. And Gordon's not a bad striker at all. I know he got KO'd a couple of times. He doesn't have the best chin, but it's not like he's chinny. How many years ago he got finished last time? Let me check. I think it's a long time ago, right? Last time he got finished, Gordon, it was by KO, I mean, because he got finished by Dawson, but that was a submission. So that was in 2019 against Oliveira. That's a long time ago. And Nasrat, before his last KO, that's why I got such a good price, because he was a decision machine. And to your point, McPick, he's 6-3 to the decision compared to Gordon, who's 11-1. The only decision loss being to Paddy, which was a bad one. So he could be 12-0 to the decision right now. And you can place decision prop at like plus 300 to plus 325. So I think that's pretty good. I'm just not sure I want to play him because I feel like he's going to lose at the end of the day, either by knockout or a 29-28 decision. So I'm not sure I want to get involved. I'm not too confident about it. I'm gonna need to look a little bit deeper into this one. But yeah, he's the side for me. I think Nasrat win, but I think Gordon's the side. It's annoying when I say that and I don't have the bet, but you don't have to bet every fight there's value on. So I'm not sure yet if I'm gonna bet Gordon decision or.
What do you think about Gordon? What do you think about Gordon plus 3.5?
I don't like it because he can get knocked out, and you lose.
Yeah, I don't like it because like if you play that and you get knocked out, like you just said, you're losing the bet anyways. But if you play the decision prop or the money line, at least you're betting a big plus money numbers. So if you think it doesn't get finished, so why play the plus 3.5 when you can play the money line at like two times the price? Yeah, I don't really like the spread most of the time.
Okay. Yeah, I agree with you guys. I think you got to, if you're going to play it, like I said, Gordon by decision or Haqparast by KO. Let's move on to our next fight. This is going to get us onto the main card. It's Johnny Walker versus Volkan Oezdemir. Johnny Walker is 32, 6'6", with an 82.5-inch reach. Volkan is 34, 6'2", with a 75-inch reach. Odds on this fight, total pick'em. You can get, that's pick'em. It's minus 110 a piece. I'm gonna make McPicks go first here, dude. Pick a side. Which one do you want to be on?
Yeah, just flip a coin for this one.
Yep. Tell me. Well, you gotta pick one. Pick a side and tell me why.
I don't got it. I don't gotta do that. I mean, I'm gonna pick Walker just because I think he has more upside. He's younger. He's bigger. He's has better reach. He's more explosive, better athlete. Probably hits harder too. But you got to always question the durability. Always question which Johnny Walker is going to show up. Right? Sometimes he shows up and he kickboxes, has a sparring match like he did against Thiago Santos, which was a terrible fight. And then sometimes he shows up and he can flying knee, crazy spinning elbow, and finish his opponent within the first round. But Volkan, I'm actually surprised these guys haven't fought. They've been around the light heavyweight division for a while. I'm surprised they haven't fought each other until now. They share a lot of similar opponents. But Volkan, he's solid. He's a technical fighter, well-rounded, but I just feel like he's generic. Like he doesn't do anything special. Yeah, it's like, he does everything okay, but like I just don't see him, moving anywhere in the division at this point. And like I said, it's volatile because you don't know exactly which Johnny Walker is going to show up. But I like the upside of Johnny Walker. So at this price, Johnny Walker was a big favorite at one point. Now it's like a pick 'em. If I had to bet it, which I wouldn't, but I would take Walker.
What do you guys think about? I agree. I like Walker too. I mean, the chin is sus, and Volkan's looked okay with the chin, and obviously throws a little bit better, has good power, throws it down the middle. But I don't know, something about the explosiveness of Walker. I think he's going to probably get it done here, coming off a loss. What do you guys think about this double chance of Nasrat by KO, Gordon by decision, -125? I don't really like it because of the chalk. What do you guys think?
It's not a bad look, honestly. I'm not saying it. I wouldn't be completely shocked if Nasrat won a decision.
I agree.
I don't see Gordon finishing Nasrat, but I think the only way that one loses is if
Nasrat's decision,
which obviously can happen. But I don't think it's a terrible look, honestly.
Yeah, I'm not too sure. It's not really my style of bet, but since my prediction is Nasrat to win a decision, I'm kind of betting against what I think is going to happen at the end of the day, and I'm paying a little bit chalk on it. So I don't like it. I prefer to just pick a side here and go Gordon decision if I make a bet. That's kind of my way to think. And about this Walker and Oezdemir fight, I don't have a good read on it whatsoever. If you have big balls, you just play the go the distance, and you just pray someone doesn't die. That's how I would play it. But yeah, I think Walker's going to win. But I'm not. Give me a sec. My dog's going crazy again. Will not be long.
We could probably go on to the next fight. This one is like, or even the next fight. I feel like these two fights, right? The next one's the Shara Bullet fight. It's like that one just got announced, right? I mean, I don't know. There's not too much
Shara Bullet by decision. But here's what I'm gonna do, just to fill space. We've been doing this like segment with this guy JoeSchmo. He's one of my buddy who's, he's kind of a complete casual, doesn't look into betting, doesn't look like that, just gives picks. So far, I just give him a call randomly. We have all bullshit aside, we haven't even talked yet. I'm just going to call him and ask him who his pick is. He gave us Carlos winning over Rebecca, and he's given us Chaos Williams by KO. So he usually just picks a pick, and he's been doing well so far. So let's give him a call and see what he thinks. I think I have a general idea on who he's going to go with, but I just want to hear it real quick.
Your boy Carlos
Ferreira. Yo, JoeSchmo, you're live. Tell me what's our pick for the week here for UFC Saudi Arabia.
We're on the air?
Yeah, you're on the air. You're live.
All right, boys. First time, long time. Calls me JoeSchmo. This week, guess what we are? We're Joey Dogs.
Okay.
We got D-Rod plus 200. I think he's a little over now. We're going to take it money line. We're taking it by KO and decision, so we get the double doink out of the way. It goes to the ground. I'm not gonna lie to you fellas. I don't like the chances here, but we're gonna pray the reach doesn't get there. Striking's gonna be better. We're gonna have a good day.
Okay. All right. I respect it. I'm hanging up on you, but I like that. D-Rod money line, D-Rod by KO, and D-Rod by decision. Okay.
Yo, get JoeSchmo on the podcast.
Okay. So that's his picks of the week. So we got that taken care of. Obviously that's bad for mic time, but fuck it. I kind of agree with him here. I was telling Dravhy that earlier today, and it's kind of crazy that he said that. Let's move on to our next fight. Do we really want to talk about Shara Bullet versus Trocoli? Shara Bullet by finish. I mean, he's -700. Probably finish is going to be -350. There's no value there. Maybe the under, I guess, if they give us a good line, but I doubt they give us that. What do you guys think for that one? That's the next fight, Shara Bullet versus Trocoli.
The under 1.5. The totals are out on Bet Online. The under 1.5 is -150. Over 1.5 is +120. So another question mark because this guy Trocoli hasn't really. Who knows with how this guy's going to show up? But yeah, I mean, this one should be Shara Magomedov all day. The UFC likes this guy too. They want this guy to win.
Yeah, Dravy, any different from you?
Yeah, I think Trocoli's a fraud. I don't think he's good. He fought at a lot of different weight class. He was supposed to fight a week or two ago. No, I think a month ago he was supposed to fight at 205. Now he's scheduled to fight at 185. Yeah, man, Shara's nasty with the kicks. He has big power, but he has a suspect ground game. And Trocoli, I think he's training with Brian Ortega, doing the grappling and stuff like that. So maybe he gets on top and he finds a sub. Who knows, right? Some shit's gonna happen in this one, but I think Shara Bullets wins probably by knockout.
All right, I agree. I agree with that, but we're not going to get a good line on that. JoeSchmo just texted me saying if this one hits, he's going to start charging. So that's good to know. Let's look at this next. Next fight is Kelvin Gastelum versus Daniel Rodriguez. Kelvin Gastelum, he's 18-9. He's 32 years old, 5'9", with a 71-inch reach. He feels so much older. D-Rod's 37, 6'1", with a 74-inch reach. Right now, you can get D-Rod plus 210 to plus 200. You can get Gastelum anywhere from minus 240 to minus 250. Let's talk about the real bout and fight to start. It's Gastelum making weight, and does he look like a slob or not? Dravhy, I'm going to have you start. Who wins this, Gastelum or D-Rod?
Yeah, Gastelum probably. I think D-Rod's on the decline. Didn't look good in his last 2 fights. He's 37 years old, Gastelum, I think he did look good against Chris Curtis. That was a war. He looked bad against Brady, but that's because he was facing a grappler, and I bet Brady there. That was a big bet for me. I think he was. Yeah, I got Brady at pick and price, but that's different matchup here. D-Rod's gonna strike with him. Gastelum's gonna have the fight that he wants, and I think he's just better at it. He fought better competition, and they're both durable. It's probably gonna go the distance. I think Gastelum win this fight cleanly. I did play the over 2.5 when it was minus 175, but unfortunately I couldn't track it or tip it, so the line moves just too quick on me. I think it goes over 2.5. Maybe it's still a good parlay piece, but I think it's like minus 250 now. I don't really like it, especially because D-Rod's getting hurt a little bit more these days. So I could see a world where there's a finish, but I think it goes over 2.5, and I think Gastelum win the decision.
McPicks, what do you think here?
Yeah, I agree with Drav. I think Daniel Rodriguez is pretty much done. You look at his last 3 fights. Ian Gary's obviously very good, but he got knocked out in the first round. I don't think Gary's been doing that to too many people. His last 6 fights have all gone into the 3rd round outside of the one against D-Rod. So that wasn't a good look. And the fight before that, Neil Magny cooked him in the 3rd round. And then I thought he lost to the Leech. That one went to a decision, but I thought he lost that one. And that was
Leech was minus 1,400 live when he lost that decision.
Yeah, that was a bit of a suspicious decision win.
I had a Leech ticket and I was looking at it like it was free, but
that's why you remember. Yeah, you bet. Yeah. You never forget those. Like, what's funny is like when you have those losses, or like I can remember exactly, even the card was like a year or 2 years ago. I can remember like exactly where I was for each fight. And you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, you remember the ones that were just like robberies or the ones that really stick in your mind.
Unbelievable. Look, continue. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, like you said, Gastelum, he's only 32 years old, but he's like 60 in fight years. But he's going to get the fight he wants here, striking fight. He looked good against Chris Curtis. Chris Curtis is solid. Gastelum, I think he wins this one.
I'm going to go against, obviously I'm not going to bet this fight. I think I'm going to play D-Rod here just because I just Gastelum, I don't know if he could be trusted anymore. Obviously he didn't look great against Sean Brady, but that was a completely different fight. That was a grappling match. So we're not going to see that out of D-Rod. We're talking about, say we get D-Rod going into something here where he's like actually gets his kickboxing going and he keeps the fight at range. Do you still think that Gastelum covers a minus 250 price tag with him being at range and like getting his kickboxing? I don't know. I don't really think so, to be honest. I think he had success against Curtis because Curtis is a counter striker. Curtis is relatively low volume and in some of his fights. And I think, if D-Rod gets up on him early, I think this could be pretty much closer than minus 250. I'm not saying he's going to win outright, but I think it's going to be closer than plus 200. That's kind of my take on it. But like I said, I'm probably going to stay off of this one. Let's talk about our next fight, I guess. Next fight's our co-main event. It is Sergey Pavlovich versus Alexander Volkov. Sergey Pavlovich, minus 210, 32-year. Oh, well, that's the odds. He's 32, 6'3", 84-inch reach. Volkov is 35, 6'7", 80-inch reach. These guys are training partners. The odds right now are minus 208 to minus 230 for Pavlovich, and plus 200 for Volkov. McPicks, who do you think wins this?
I think Pavlovich is going to win this, but like you said, these guys are training partners. I would caution or give pause to anyone that wants to bet the unders in this fight. You never know. Pavlovich, he's coming back from a knockout loss, a pretty devastating one. And these guys are friends, so you never know. It might be like a slow-based kickboxing match. And we know Volkov is durable. He hasn't been knocked out in the first round in a long time. He hasn't been knocked out in a pretty long time. I think the last time he was knocked out was against Derek Lewis in like the final moments, right, of round 3.
Yep.
So Volkov, it's not like he hasn't been fighting heavy hitters. He's been fighting some really, Tai Tuivasa, Rosenstruik, Aspinall submitted him. Skilgan, he went to a decision with. So, it's not like he's fighting guys who have pillow hands. But I also see a lot of people saying, like, if this fight gets extended, if this fight gets outside of round 1, then it's Volkov all day. We don't have much evidence of Pavlovich, at least in the UFC, right? He's only been in round 1, but he has gone 5 rounds before. He's 3-0 to the decision, so maybe his cardio is decent. So, but I can see this one being like a kickboxing fight, slowly paced, and that Pavlovich kind of pulls back on that aggression in round 1. And I think he can I think he can win a decision here. Just saying.
That is a hot take. You're saying Pavlovich by decision, huh?
That's the read.
When's the last? I'm just out of curiosity. I don't even know. When's the last time he's went to decision? 3 times in his career. He hasn't been there since 2017 on the regional scene for global for Russia. Okay. I like it. So do you like the over 1.5? Because I was kind of looking at that angle because of like exactly what you said. The KO coming usually makes people a little gun shy early. And I think that the fact that they're training partners, they both have good reads on each other. So they're not going to fall for the shit that someone who doesn't know their camps would. So that's why I kind of like the over as well, especially because I think if Pavlovich wins, it's probably early. If Volkov wins, it's not going to be on the feet. It'll be with grappling, which means it's going over. So I kind of like the over as well here instead of picking a side. I think the over is plus odds, right?
It is. I was expecting a bigger, like a more.
Yeah.
Plus
well, it opened plus 160. It looks like, and now it's plus 125. Were you hoping it was bigger than plus 160?
I'm surprised. Just given how Pavlovich's history in the UFC, he hasn't been on around 1 yet. But yeah, maybe the bookies are sharp to it, or just I'm just surprised that the under is not like minus 200.
Agreed. All right, Drav, what's your take here?
Yeah, I hope you guys are wrong because at first that's not how I was seeing the fight, but the more I think about it, the more I kind of regret betting the under. I think Volkov's the side though at this price. I think he's the side, but I don't have like the biggest read on this one. Pavlovich obviously hit very hard. He's in very good shape for this fight, but to me, like you said, his cardio is a question mark. But I know what I'm getting with Volkov. I know that he's pretty tough. I know that if anyone grapple, is going to be him. He's good at distance. He's pretty tough, so I'm not sure Pavlovich going to finish him. But if Pavlovich wins, it's probably by first round knockout. Never went over 1.5 in his UFC career. I think he's going to have a speed advantage here over Volkov. He's gonna hit harder for sure. But all these muscles and all the pressure, the big power shot, I don't really see him going 15 minutes without slowing down personally. So I think as the fight goes on, it does favor Volkov just because he's been there, done that multiple times. And also another interesting fact, if you look at the guys that Volkov is losing to recently, like we're talking about Sirogan, we're talking about Tom Aspinall, like he's only losing to the top of the top, and he's beating all these other guys. And I think he did look good recently, Volkov. So a little bit more finishing. He's finishing more people, etc. But yeah, I think he could. If anyone grapple, it's gonna be him. I favor him as the fight goes on. He's taller. Yeah, I just have a weird feeling about this fight, and I would honestly prefer having no money on it. That's kind of my regret with the training partners aspect, with Volkov saying that Pavlovich hit him hard and sparring, and he didn't win any rounds, stuff like that. So yeah, man, to me, it's just a weird fight in general. But I think Volkov's the value side for sure. I think it goes under 1.5, but I could really see it going over 1.5. So I'm not too sure what I'm gonna do with that. But yeah.
So just to interrupt you real quick. So shout out Lucrative. He actually put out a video, I think yesterday. Maybe I saw it this morning. I can't remember. He's got a buddy in Russia who went through the interview where Volkov was talking about like that 5-round or like that oh, he hits hard, I've never won a round, whatever. He says that was pretty much like it was sarcasm for the most part. So take that for what you will, but that's what I saw online this morning. So a lot of people are putting a lot of chalk into that quote, but from what I heard, that's kind of what I got from it. So do with that what you will. Do you think Volkov has slowed down at all over the past few years, Jav? That's my question to you, because it's kind of like looking through tape and watching his fights earlier. Obviously, the later Father Time is undefeated. I do think Volkov looks a little slower than he normally does on the feet with the kickboxing. Not as much as grappling, but
yeah, but I think he did look good in his last 2 fights. Yeah, I don't think he's on the decline, but Pavlovich going to be faster for sure.
Okay. Yeah. So I don't know. I'm going to look into that over 1.5. That's what I might be playing this, just because I feel like it's one of those things that everyone's expecting the under that might actually go over. Let's go to our main event. Main event is Bobby Knuckles, Rob Whittaker versus Ikram Aliskerov. Rob Whittaker, he is 33, 6 feet, 73.5-inch reach. Ikram Aliskerov is 31, 6 foot with a 76-inch reach. Right now, the odds on these two guys, you can get Rob Whittaker anywhere from -145 to -160. You can get Ikram anywhere from +138 to +120. Drav, I'll have you go first. Is Rob Whittaker gonna? I think this fight is pretty clear. I think Ikram finishes early, Rob wins late. How do you think this goes?
Yeah, I like Whittaker here. At first, I wanted to pass, but there are just a couple things to look at that are interesting here. First of all, the last couple times we've seen a step up in competition like that in the 5-rounders, it was Abus Magomedov against Sean Strickland. Big step up in competition. He was not even ranked, and he fought somebody as the top 5 in the 5-rounders. The line was close. He ended up losing by finish. The other fight was Gadzhiyasulov versus Rosenstruck. Again, a guy that taking a massive step up in competition against someone that a lot of experience, rank, and Gadzhiyasulov and Abus Magomedov all had they had hype train, and they had shaky cardio, and the lines were close. And Ikram, I'm not saying he's bad or anything. I'm just saying that he does have suspect cardio. He does have hype on him, and he's taking a step up in competition against a guy in Whittaker. That's a massive step up. Like, Whittaker's the top 3 proven 185 pounds in the division for a long time. Former champ, fought the best of the best. The guy is still very good. Is he declining a little bit? Yeah, I think it is. I think he is. The chin's not the best, but if we look at his recent losses, we're talking about DDP champion, Adesanya 2-time former champ. That's his only losses in the last 10 years. That's crazy. Ikram, on the other hand, I think he had some favorable matchups so far in the UFC, and against Phil Alves, he was getting pieced up on the feet before he got the finish. We know Phil Alves' chin is not good at this point. He beat up Walvy Alves. I think he's not taking his career seriously anymore, fatting up a weight class. Doesn't tell me much. On the regional, he fought Chimaev, got KO'd out cold, obviously. We know that. And the big step up and everything is a good point to talk about. But more than that, he was supposed to fight a bomb in Trocoli that we just talked about last week. So now he only have 1 week to prepare for a veteran like Whittaker, and that's a 5 rounders. He was not preparing for Whittaker. He was not preparing for a 5 rounders, and now he needs to travel to go there. He was already preparing to cut weight last week. He probably already did, and now he's going to this process again. And Whittaker, that's a short notice fight for him too, but he was preparing to fight Chimaev, who's a similar matchup than Ikram. And yeah, let's not forget, Ikram is not even ranked in the UFC. I'm not saying he's bad or anything, but he's not ranked yet. I guess he could kill Whittaker. He does have power, and Whittaker has been hurt in some of these fights, but I think it will need to happen early in the first 10 minutes. If it goes over 10 minutes, I think it's all Whittaker. He's way more proven at this level, like I talk about, but he's also way more proven in 5 rounders at the UFC level. And yeah, let's talk about the Whittaker versus DDP fight a little bit. I played the under 2.5 at plus money in this spot. A lot of people play Whittaker. Let's not forget, he was minus 350 to win this fight. And everybody wrote him off after that because he looked bad and blah, blah, blah. But we know now how good DDP is. So, yeah, I think Whittaker around 70% is probably more accurate, especially because I think if it goes to a decision, you win 3-4-5 at a high clip. I think Ikram is likely to slow down. And I think Whittaker's the better striker. He has good takedown defense. I'm not too sure Ikram's going to have much wrestling or grappling success. And I don't think it's super likely that he just knock him out and make it look easy, you know? Whittaker got hurt pretty bad against Costa round 1. He was able to survive and come back and win round 2, 3. And I think that he lost. I think he looked good in that fight. Also, another point to talk about, and that's one of the reasons I bet the under 2.5 against DDP, because Whittaker looked like a decision machine, but he's facing the most durable guys on the roster, you know, Paulo Costa, Marvin Vettori, Adesanya, DDP, Gastelum, Cannonier, Romero. All these guys have elite durability, which I don't think it's the case for Ikram. In a 5-rounders, I can see Whittaker finishing him and also favor him in a decision. So I've seen Ikram slow down in round 3 on the regional already. And like I said, he's had some easy fight in the UFC so far. No, I don't think he favor Ikram at all. No, I don't think so. Like you need to prepare for a guy like Whittaker. 1 week is not enough. So step up in competition, 5-rounders against the best guy in your career in the UFC. So yeah, I think the circumstances of the matchup favor Whittaker, and there's a lot of reasons to like him. Yeah, maybe there's something weird about it because the line's closed, but yeah, I think it's one of these spots like Sean Strickland or just Rosenstruck, like they won, like they did. Oh, of course they're gonna win. They're gonna win. That was a massive step up in competition. But I think that's the same thing here with Whittaker, and we're getting a good price for it, in my opinion.
So I pretty much agree with you here. I think Whittaker is a side as well. I have 2 questions for you. One thing that's positive is he was training for Khamzat, obviously. So Khamzat, we know, is a relatively good striker, but he's a very good grappler. So Whittaker had a Olympic level grappler or wrestler in his camp for this camp. So I think the wrestling will be okay. But I think what Whittaker, like you said, against DDP, stuff like that, he struggles against guys with like big power and physicality. He's wobbled in most of his last fights. You don't think Ikram early couldn't rock him, or it would be too physical for Whittaker early on? Or do you think that Whittaker is just going to be able to keep the space for the first 2 rounds?
Yeah, I think he could KO him early. Like I said, I think that's his path to victory. I think if he wins, he's winning inside 2 rounds and probably by knockout. But you know, the only guys to do that recently are Adesanya and DDP to Whittaker. I'm not ready to say Ikram is this level of champion. So
McPicks, before you go, I want to ask you, what is this C-Rod live bet that this guy's talking about? I'll go and pull it up right here.
Oh, that's my guy, Four Corner Sports. Yeah. No, he was in my he's in my my dub club. So we have I got like a Discord, a private Discord.
Yeah.
I I always post like live betting angles, and if I post one, I'll tag everyone. And we hit a juicy bet on our guy C-Rod. I don't remember what it was. It was like plus some. It was against Bulgarian. Maybe a bit of a controversial decision, but the C-Rod after round one, I think he was maybe like plus 300 range, something ridiculous. And I put a good wager on him, and it was just a good hit.
Okay.
So,
tell us about this main event. You got Whittaker or you got Ikram here?
so here's the thing with this main event. I think it's a good main event. Huge step up for Aliskerov, right? The thing is, like, you could talk about Rob Whittaker, and you can have a long list of the advantages he has over Aliskerov, right? He has the striking advantage, level of experience, level of competition, cardio, 5-round experience. I mean, a lot of things, right? But he also had those advantages for the most part over a guy like Dricus du Plessis. Now, I'm not comparing the two. Dricus is the champ, obviously a fantastic fighter, but the main difference in that fight was the physicality, the grappling, right? He took him down with ease, and he landed more damaging strikes. Again, I'm not saying Aliskerov is on the level of Dricus, but he is a physical fighter. He has shown that he has power, right? I mean, he's been dropping fight. He's been showing he has KO power, even though he's more of a grappler. He's dropping fighters with a jab, things like that. And Rob, even though he kind of reminds me of Gastelum a little bit. Like, these two have been around forever, even though Gastelum's never been knocked out. Rob has, and not only has been knocked out, he's been hurt a lot. So I think the way to target this fight personally is kind of see how round one, maybe round two plays out. Because I don't think Rob is going to finish Aliskerov early. I think Aliskerov is more live for the finish early on. And just kind of see how it plays out. But yeah, I mean, like, you want to say like, oh, this is Rob Whittaker all day, you know? I believe I either parlay or I took Rob in some sort of method against Dricus du Plessis, just because I was looking for every excuse to fade Dricus. Just like, the dude is so, not to get off topic, but he's so not technical and all that, and he just keeps on proving me wrong. But yeah, I mean, you think that Rob should win this fight, but I just worry, like, I could see him winning moments, and then he gets caught, you know, or just like he gets taken down, or he just catches one shot and he just can't recover and he just gets finished. So me personally, I'm going to watch, and I'm going to wait a little bit, maybe a round and a half, see how it plays out, and then maybe take a live shot.
I loved how you mentioned the live shot, because I think a lot of people miss out on those opportunities. Another one on this card that I think is also very good for a live shot is Volkov. Watch how round one goes with Sergey. See how it looks, and then you can play Volkov. Like, I guess there's no real rush to bet Volkov, and I don't really think there's a rush to bet Whittaker at minus 150 when I think Ikram, his round one's his most probable way. You probably get a better bet on him. So I agree there. One thing I noticed too is obviously someone was talking shit about me not paying attention to tape. So, you know, insert the Michael Jordan meme where I took that personally. So we went in on tape this week. You look at the way Ikram gets his finishes, it's that counter hook he throws. It's a lot of guys who go in throwing bursts of punches, and he catches them with that counter hook. And Rob Whittaker's probably like my favorite fighter, but that's like pretty much his MO when it comes to striking. He throws in those flurry of punches, goes in, throws, you know, punches and bunches, and then backs out and gets on his thing. And, you know, that's where Ikram's, you know, bread and butter is sometimes, it looks like, with some of these finishes. So I think that's important too. But I completely agree with what you said. I think Rob Whittaker is the side here. I have no problem with people playing Ikram by KO or early, but I think you kind of just, for this fight, you just step back, wait for a live line. There's no rush to bet this one. I also think, do you guys think it's interesting the way this fight is lined with Whittaker versus Ikram, and then the line it was for Whittaker versus Khamzat? Like, why do you think the odds are like, shouldn't Rob Whittaker be a wider favorite with a guy coming in on short notice with a lower level of, you know, strength of schedule? Like, why are these odds relatively similar? What do you guys think about that?
I think that, you know, there's a lot of hype on this guy, Aliskerov, not to the level of Khamzat Chimaev, but people love this guy, Ikram. I mean, his only loss is to Khamzat Chimaev, you know, and people, I think just people love betting on these, like, you know, Russian based grapplers who have like crazy good records. And the line. What was the line against Hamzat? Hamzat was like a -200 favorite, right?
-250.
Minus
Oh, there you go.
250.
So I mean, it's a pretty, now you have Ikram's underdog, so it's a pretty difference in price, I think. But yeah, I just think that there's a lot of hype on this guy Ikram as well.
Honestly, I would have thought it would have been wider. I was really thinking that. So let's see. This guy said it's hard for anyone to fight.
Yeah, I think Whittaker should be around -200 to -230 personally.
That's kind of what I'm thinking too, Drav. Is like I'm very surprised he wasn't a bigger favorite. That's what kind of startled me off this line because like I was thinking Whittaker, and then the price on Whittaker early was like what -125, -130. That's like too good to be true. And I'm one of those. I'm a New Yorker, so like if it's too good to be true, it probably is. So that's just my thought process there, which is kind of why I agree. Like step back, watch the first round, and then just hop in on the live line. You can't put it on Bet MMA or whatever, but if we're talking about winning money, like I think that's the way to play it.
Right.
So that's it, guys. That's our show. McPicks, thanks again for joining us. I appreciate it, especially on short notice. Let's do our BTL parlay and then get out of here. Do you guys have any idea what you guys want to do? Drav, you want to start us off?
Yeah, I'll go with Felipe Lima +100.
Okay. How about you, McPicks?
The Felipe Lima line moved during this podcast was +105 to +100. Coincidence? I don't know.
I agree. The people are watching.
Let me think here. You got the Lima money line. What am I going with?
What do you got? Give us a tasty total. You're always sharp on those totals. Give us a tasty total here. What do you got for us?
So I don't have any total bets. I only have 2 bets so far. I don't know how many bets I'm going to have for this card. Like I said, I still got to look into a couple of the matchups.
It's a tricky card to gamble on. Like I've been looking and like I probably haven't taped a card so hard. Pause. I haven't taped a card so in depth until this card, and it almost felt like I was forcing a bet because like you watch all these fights and there are ways that both sides can win, or some prices seem too wide, or the dogs are too big of favorites, and you don't want to take a shot at that underdog. So it's kind of like a tricky card. So what do you think?
You know what's kind of like a I'm surprised by this line, but I feel like it's a trap. The Walker and Oezdemir fight, the fight to end by knockout is only -129 on Bet Rivers. But I feel like it should be wider, but I also feel like it's kind of a trap, Yeah,
it should be like -175 realistically, just because like
I have a weird feeling. I think this fight's gonna go the distance. I have a very weird feeling about this one, but I'm not willing to play it. I'm not confident, but I think it go the distance.
There's so much volatility in that fight. You got the volatility of, first off, the striking of Walker, and then you have the volatility of his chin, and then you have the volatility of Volk. I mean, Volkov's got a pretty good chin, so I don't know. Like, it's a weird fight. That's why I don't want to touch it. It's a coin toss. Why are you gonna do that? Just go play roulette if you're gonna bet like that.
All right, you know what? Give me the over 1.5 rounds in the Pavlovich Volkov fight.
Okay. Okay. And what's the odds on that? +125?
Yeah. The parlay is already +350.
It's gonna be juicy this week.
Juicy.
Peg, you got to go with an underdog play now. I mean, come on. You got 2 in a row. Got to make it the underdog parlay.
Okay, we're gonna go with. Got to give you guys an underdog, huh?
You can play a total that is plus money too.
Right. Let me look at the totals here. What do I got written down in my notes?
Or you can give us an anchor and just do Shara Magomedov money line -700.
You love to do that.
I did. I love to give an anchor, and it's been looking good so far. And I don't know. I don't trust it anymore. I was gonna say Rob Whittaker money line. I kind of want to give us that, but like I said, I kind of would rather wait for that to be live to put more money on that. If you guys want me to give a crazy dog, I would say Bredson. Actually, what's the over under on that?
Yeah, we
Under's
need
one.
to cash it. We need to cash it, bro. So say something you're confident, but close
I
line.
mean, you don't want that. That's going to be a chalk. I'm going to give you a
guys-
Rinat.
I mean, everyone kind of agreed on Chang Ho Lee too, right? Is he still the underdog?
He's minus
I was
now.
gonna say if you're okay with me giving like a relatively like a pick 'em, let's play -1 108 on Chang Ho Lee.
I mean,
There you
we
go.
get
I mean, he's the underdog.
plus 767.
That's a lock.
767. That's a lock.
Cash it now.
Ho Lee -108. And what's that? Plus what?
I don't know how to say it. 767. Is that
Okay. Okay, guys. So our BTL parlay is Felipe Lima +100, over 1.5 for Pavlovich Volkov +125, Chang Ho Lee -108 for a total of +767. All right, guys. So my picks. Thanks for joining us. What do you got for us? You said you run a dub club. I thought you were a Patreon guy. Did you move over to dub club?
Never been a Patreon guy. I was
Okay.
always just like a BetMMA.tips guy, and then I started the Dub Club last year. But yeah, like you said, I have a Dub Club where I post all my bets. I post long shot parlays. Also gives you access to a private Discord where we just talk fights. We just send in memes, whatever it is. But more importantly, I post live bets when I'm watching the fights, and I tag everyone. Been pretty profitable doing that. Having another good year so far. 2024 up 47 units at a 16% return on investment. So that's 5 years straight of profit. And looking to make some more money on Saturday. Early fight card in Saudi Arabia. So yeah, thanks for having me on, guys.
Of course, Drav. Give out your dub club info.
Yeah, always a pleasure, bro. Thanks for coming in on short notice too. Much appreciated. He's gonna be back next week. I think he had some problems this week. So yeah, as you guys know, Dravhy_ on Twitter. You can find my dub club. You can find every bets. Also, I know there's some people who prefer to just pay for one card. You can do this on BetMMA Tips, but I recommend paying for the full month. It's gonna be better long term than paying just for one card. You can find in my dub club. I post all the breakdowns, all the bet, and we beat the lines almost every week. I mean, there's a reason this podcast is Beat The Line broadcast. We didn't come with this idea with nothing. We're beating these lines, which is important to have CLV, and now let's win these bets too. I did a little bit more studies for PFL and Bellator this week, so I have a couple bets for PFL and Bellator. So that's a good week to sign up because you get UFC, PFL, and Bellator for this month, which I like the spot that I'm on. I'm not super confident about this card, to be honest, but the spots that I bet, I'm pretty confident. The fight that I'm not, I'm just passing or betting a big dog. So yeah, man, I think the fight card is going to be decent. And yeah, man, we have a lot of fight this week, PFL, Bellator, UFC. That's good. It's gonna be a good week, man. I hope we all cash and make profit, and I'm happy we agree on most of the sides. So
Yeah, I agree too. Me as usual, Pegasus picks on Twitter. Telegram's free, always will be. You'll get any of my live bets that I put in, as well as my early plays in there. It'll always be free. That's just kind of how I run it. That's the show, guys. Again, thanks for joining us for the show. Leave us a like, subscribe to the channel, follow all these guys on Twitter. We're all sharp. And that's it, guys. Thanks for joining us.
peace.